Hi guys, I've got a bit of a drainage problem. The problem's not down there. I spent 2 hours down there and it's not down there. So I'll explain later. For now, I'm just going to close the top up. It's a bit dangerous with a big hole there. That'll do for a couple of days. I've got to lift it back up again, but I just wanted to make it was safe and there were no little dogs dropping down it. It's been a bit of a strange week here, and like anyone who owns a property, it just goes to show that you're never quite sure what's going to go wrong and what you're going to have to repair. Started the week off by trying to do some more on this wardrobe, which is progressing. It's progressing quite nicely. At the end of the last video, when I went shopping for the materials, there was reorganising the store and they didn't have any. So this week I had time to do something a little bit different because I couldn't concentrate on this build. So I decided, because winter's coming round the corner, that I would reorganise the garage. The garage has always been a little bit of a dumping zone, especially that we're bringing seats in from the garden and just putting them in there. Now, I've accepted an invitation for next year to go on a cycling holiday in Spain. Cycling is something I used to do lots and lots of when I raced Ironman triathlons. But I've not done that much recently, so I need to get my skates on and get back out on the bike. So one of the incentives for tidying the garage up was that I could put the bike back on the turbo trainer and do some cycling over the next few months in the garage, if the weather's not good enough to actually go out on the roads. The weather was quite stormy outside, so it was nice to have that inside job to do anyway. And then at the weekend I managed to get some material to continue this build, but I've still not quite got everything I need, so it's come to a bit of an halt just for a few days. I'm having a little bit of trouble with Screwfix, would you believe? Our local commune has given all our roads now road names, which we never had. All the time we've had the house here, we've never had a road name. But they've given us a road name, which is nice, and I quite like the way it works. The houses have a number, but it's actually not the number of the house, it's the distance in meters away from a datum at the end of the road. So you find the road that you're looking for, want to find, say, house 500. So you find the datum and then you just travel 500 metres from that datum and that's the house. I quite like the way that works. However, our road name has an apostrophe in it. So I filled out my address on Screwfix. They've always managed to find me before. Filled out the address on Screwfix, sent the order, and usually it comes next day or certainly the day after, and it never came. Kept looking on the account and it just said pending. Eventually I got a nice email from Screwfix customer service and say, our computer system doesn't recognise addresses with apostrophes in, so we've cancelled your order and sent your money back. If you want to put the order on again, then please do, but don't put apostrophe in, just put a space in instead of the apostrophe. And by the way, because of the inconvenience of this, we've sent you a €5 voucher for a discount off your next order. So I've reordered what I need, but it's still not arrived. 2 days ago, I was working here on my little standing desk here, and Lynn started screaming from the garage that there's water pouring all over the floor. Now, we kind of had an inkling that there was a little bit of an issue with his water system over the last day or two before that, because there was a bit of gurgling going on. It turns out we've got a blockage in the pipe. Now, my immediate thought that my grease trap was blocked. It's actually turned out that it's a blockage in the pipe, which is quite annoying because all the pipes are under concrete and they're not easily accessible. So I'm going to have to sort that out later. But just to give you an idea of how my water system works, I'll do you a little sketch because it's quite complicated to explain. It's a lot easier in a sketch. So basically the footprint of my house is like that. Dining room, lounge, staircase, kitchen, and then there's the garage on the end. The toilets are at this end of the house and the bathroom are at this end of the house. And the toilets are connected to the septic tank, the fosse as they call them in France. Now that's unaffected by this. At the back of the house outside the door here under the decking is another tank called a grease trap or bac de grasse. And that basically all the water from the rest of the house, the grey water in essence, goes in there. So the kitchen sink is plumbed into there, the bath and the shower and the sink in the bathroom are plumbed into there. The plumbing at this side of the house basically goes out the back wall, goes down there and goes under there. All these pipes run through the terrace and are where all the grasses and plants are, so they're accessible. If I need to remove them, get to them, I can do. I actually made that decision when I made the terrace. Now, this side of the house is unaffected. At this side, the kitchen sink, the water softener, which is there, the washing machine, which is here in the garage, all connect through a pipe that comes out of the back of the house here and then runs along the back of the house and into that grease trap there. It's a great drawing, this, isn't it, by the way? My initial thoughts was that this grease trap was full because it needs emptying every year or so. But we tend to not put as much water down it as normal because during the summer months we recycle all our kitchen washing up water out into the garden. So really the only thing that goes down this pipe is the washing machine and the dishwasher, which is in the kitchen. So I assumed that this was full and over the invert level, so the tank looks like that, and then the pipes, the two parts of the house comes into it like that. I assumed that the invert level of the tank and the inlet here, the water level was over there, which is why the water wasn't draining. As it turned out, when I managed to open the tank up, the water level was perfectly down there and the water was discharging into the tank perfectly. But I do know where these pipes go round the corners here, the angle, they are properly 90 degrees. And there is no rodding eye in the house. So I can't get the rodding eye down, other than there used to be a sink here in the garage, which we took out a few years ago. And I replaced the top of the sink with a bung, and I can screw that out and rod down there, but it's only a 32mm pipe, so it's not very handy. So I need to form a rodding eye on the outside of the house. So unfortunately, the diameter of the pipe that I assume is buried under the garage floor and then returns out into the grease trap on this side of the house is a strange diameter. It's about 85mm, and there isn't such a pipe for sale in the builder's merchant here. Where the builders of the house got that from, I don't know. And because it's partially concreted in under the garage floor, I'm reluctant to cut into that pipe because I need to join another pipe to it. Now I'll probably have to get one of them rubber boots to do that, but anyway, for now I'm not going to do that. So basically, when we had the flood the other day, the washing machine was pumping out, the water couldn't escape down the pipe into the grease trap, so it was backing up, it was gurgling out of the kitchen sink, and it was actually spurting out of the water inlet from a water softener that we have in the garage and spilling all over the garage floor. Now it's really fortuitous that I'd actually tidied the garage out a couple of days before and there was hardly anything on the floor. A few days earlier the floor was covered in all sorts of stuff that we just dumped there. When I built the terrace a couple of years ago, I left a couple of sections of decking. One of them is over the fosse and I've left a little manhole cover there. And the other one is over the grease trap. And I didn't create a manhole cover there because the idea is eventually I need to take that full length of decking out and hire it because I'm going to tile the terrace. So I needed to raise that decking. So basically I'd only put that in temporary while I did that. Unfortunately, it's one of them jobs I never got around to. In this year, it's now scheduled for spring next year. So I never put a little trap door in because I thought, well, I'm going to have to rebuild the whole thing anyway. But from putting it down 2 years ago and trying to get it up when we was flooding in the garage, for some reason the screws that I've bought are just garbage. They're just stripping out all the screws. So I can't get the boards up. I got one out of the 7 decking boards off and cut another section out so I could actually reach down and move the top off the tank, which is a big concrete slab, which is not light when you threw a little hole. But I managed to do that. But as soon as I got the top off, I could see that the issue wasn't with the grease trap. It was somewhere in the pipe between the washing machine and the grease trap. I've got this little long springy type rodding thing. I managed to get that down, put some drain cleaner out, and actually now it's running. And the sink, if I leave the tap on a long time, the sink eventually backs up, so the old pipe system is backing up. But it takes a while for the sink to fill up, which suggests that the blockage is quite near the grease trap and not actually near the house, because the volume of water in that pipe has to build up before it starts to build up out of the sink. So I think I've come up with a solution, but that'll be the weekend's job, so you'll probably see that on the next video. But unfortunately, because I've got that issue, that's delaying now the job I've got to do here and the other bits and pieces. And this is the thing with having an house that you need to keep renovating. Even though I've had this house for years and we've done lots and lots of work here, it still kicks us in the backside every now and again, as most properties do when you're trying to maintain them. So that's how this week's gone. It's not quite gone as planned, but some weeks are like that, aren't they? We all learn from them. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, as I said, give me a thumbs up, maybe even drop me a comment and say hello. It certainly helps out the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.